We start with the Forresters celebrating at the famous Red Wedding when the Whitehills and Boltons betray them and the Starks. Lord Forrester's squire, Garrett, is able to escape as Roderick, the eldest Forrester son, and Lord Forrester himself fall in the battle. Before he dies, Lord Forrester is able to use his last breaths to tell Garrett that North Grove must never be lost. On his way to Ironrath, the Forrester keep, Garrett finds his family slaughtered. He's able to kill one of the attackers while the other two escape. Garrett gives the news of the ambush to the Forresters and is forced to leave to the wall by his uncle Duncan so he can join the Night's Watch and find the North Grove. Ethan, the third-born son, is made the new lord since the second-born, Asher, was exiled to Essos to prevent war with the Whitehills years ago after he and Gwen Whitehill, Blood Whitehill's only daughter, fell in love. Ethan sends his uncle Malcolm to Essos to bring Asher and an army back home. Ramsay Snow arrives with Blood Whitehill, and he has the Forresters split their Ironwood forest 50-50 with the Whitehills, while also installing a garrison of 20 Whitehill troops within Ironrath under Griff Whitehill. Ethan protests, saving his sister Talia from being taken away by Ramsay, but is killed for being too much trouble. Ramsay then has Blood Whitehill take Ryan Forrester, the fourth-born son, as collateral before leaving. Over in Essos, Asher and his friend Beska fight off the Lost Legion when Malcolm arrives. The three of them head over to Marine to hire an army. And over in the north, Garrett arrives at the wall, befriending two other members, Finn and Cotter. After he takes his vows, he's confronted by a new recruit, the Whitehill that killed his family. Garrett is able to avenge them, but the Watch locks him up for murder. Back in Ironrath, Roderick Forrester is found still alive in a corpse cart, and he takes over as the new lord. Roderick reaches out to House Glenbrook to continue the arranged marriage between him and their daughter Elena, who agrees to the betrothal. In King's Landing, Mira Forrester, the eldest daughter, serves as Lady Marjorie's handmaiden. Mira is able to meet with Tyrion, making a deal to have the Forresters make weapons with ironwood directly for the crown, securing the king's alliance and saving her house, which angers the two Whitehill salesmen, Sir Morgren and Sir Andros. Later that night, Mira is nearly killed by a Kingsguard blackmailed by the Whitehills. She's able to escape as a coalboy, Tom, attacks a soldier. In Essos, the trio eventually reach Marine, but the army was hired by Daenerys Targaryen, so they make a deal with her. Asher helps take Marine from the slavers, and she gives him the army. They help take the city, but Daenerys can't spare the army, instead giving them a crate of gold, which they then have to take to go find a new army. Back at King's Landing, as Mira and Sir Morgren come close to a new alliance, Joffrey is killed and Tyrion is imprisoned. Mira sneaks into Tyrion's room with the help of Tom and burns the evidence of their dealings, which puts her back at square one. Over in Ironrath, Roderick learns of a traitor on his council from Gwen Whitehill before heading home to find Griff dragging Talia around. He stands up to Griff, openly defying him and rallying his people. Afterwards, Roderick meets up with Elena and her younger brother Arthur, who give Roderick 20 elite troops to retake Ironrath. They stage a coup, imprisoning Griff and his soldiers, and securing Ironrath once again. In King's Landing, Mira learns of a Whitehill contact gathering a large army. She finds out that it's Andros before being met by Queen Cersei. She agrees to get rid of Andros for Mira if Mira can learn who Tyrion plans on defending him in his trial. Tyrion gives Mira a list of fake names after the two share a bottle of wine, saying their goodbyes before Mira is betrayed by Morgren, getting herself thrown in jail for the death of the Kingsguard even though she hadn't been the one to kill him. In High Point, Roderick meets with Ludd, agreeing to trade Ryan for Griff, but the council traitor releases Griff, ruining the chances of getting Ryan back safely. When Roderick gets back from High Point, he finds all the elite troops dead and Arthur flayed alive by Ramsay Snow. Ramsay agrees to not help the Whitehills any longer, but the two houses must fight each other to the death. Back in Marine, Asher is able to hire the freed slaves as his army. Malcolm then decides to stay behind as Asher takes a boat back to Ironrath, becoming an advisor for Daenerys and securing an alliance with the future queen. Back in Ironrath, Talia learns that Duncan was the traitor, and after Duncan reveals to Roderick that Asher is in trouble, he executes him, then rides to the docks to meet his brother for the first time in years. At the docks, Asher and the army get off the boat and meet with Roderick, but the reunion is cut short by a Whitehill ambush. Not willing to lose his little brother, Roderick sacrifices himself, holding off the Whitehills long enough for Asher and his army to escape. Over at the wall, Garrett is freed by Cotter, who reveals himself to be a wildling. They escape the wall with Finn and they find Cotter's sister. White Walkers end up attacking the group, killing Finn before the rest of the group escapes and stumbles into the North Grove, where they find the bastard children of Lord Forrester. In King's Landing, Morgren offers to marry Mira. He plans on betraying Ludd, and with Mira as his wife, he'll have the legitimacy to become Lord of Ironrath. Hoping to live long enough to save her family, she agrees, having Tom get executed in her stead. At Ironrath, Asher becomes the new lord and decides to feign surrender in order to poison Ludd and win the war. Gwen meets Asher and convinces him to marry her and finally put an end to all the bloodshed. Asher tries to call off the plan, but Lady Forrester refuses, lashing out at Ludd. Asher is able to kill Griff as Ludd escapes and the Forresters kill off the initial wave of Whitehills, but they're quickly overrun by the rest of the army. During the siege, Lady Forrester dies saving Asher and Ironrath is lost. As the Whitehills march in, an injured Asher is saved by Royland, who stays behind to ensure he can escape. Back in the north, Cotter dies and Garrett leads the army of the North Grove towards Ironrath, not knowing that they've already lost. And after the credits, Asher is saved by Gwen and Talia, the last survivors.